Here's what's coming up on today's show.
You've got to look at different factors. That's part of the process when we do have clients that are considering downsizing. We look at these different factors and kind of do a cost analysis.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Mark, do you like hot dogs? Just a general question here.
I'll eat them on special occasions. It's not something I regularly eat, if I do.
Try not to eat them often, but
They're not healthy.
Once in a while, they're really good.
Yeah, like if it's a barbecue or something like that, I'll have one or two.
There was a truckload of hot dogs that recently spilled across a busy road in Pennsylvania after a mechanical problem caused the truck to scrape along a concrete divider, ripping the trailer wide open. And after participating in the cleanup process, the local fire chief said, and I'm quoting here, "I can tell you personally that hot dogs are very slippery. I did not know that."
If you've ever grabbed them out of a package and put them on the grill, they can be slippery. So
maybe he doesn't eat hot dogs on a regular basis. So
yeah,
I don't know. But can you imagine all those dogs on the road?
No, and I don't know why give it to. It could be dog or cat food, I guess, at that point.
Yes, at that point. Well, let's get back into the regular conversation here that we always have, having to do with getting to and through retirement. And today, let's talk about downsizing or not to downsize. That's a decision that a lot of people have to make when they head off into retirement. Many people assume that they're going to downsize their home after the kids are grown and gone. Plenty of people do move forward with that plan, while others can't ever quite pull the trigger on it. Let's explore some of the questions that you need to answer in order to make a decision on a major change like that. Mark, I suppose that one thing that people need to think about is, other than just the potential sale price of your current home and whatever your new home is going to cost you, what other figures should they be considering?
Yeah, and I'm in the situation right now. I'm looking to downsize.
Really?
Yeah. I want to find something smaller, easier to manage. I'd say, not necessarily. If you're moving from a bigger home to a smaller home, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be saving money because you're paying more for a new home versus what you might be getting for your old home. If you have a mortgage and you got it when rates were very, very low, and now they're probably double, if not more, than what you were if you were in the 2 to 3% range. Yeah. You could be spending just as much, if not more. So I think there's a lot of different things. If you're in an HOA, maybe you're moving to a place that doesn't have an HOA or vice versa. Property taxes are something to consider. If you're going into a different state, they could have higher, they could have lower property taxes. So there's a lot of things you need to consider when doing it. Some people do keep their home, but some people do look to downsize.
Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of alluded to this already, but does downsizing in square footage mean necessarily downsizing in cost as much as you might think it will?
No, because things keep going up and up, as you might imagine. So, if you look at what you paid for that house versus maybe what it's worth, it should have appreciated depending on when you bought it. But buying something new not necessarily is going to save you. If you're moving into a house half the size of where you're coming from, you're not going to be paying half of what the value of your home is.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Unfortunately, sometimes you end up actually spending more.
Yeah.
So it just depends. You've got to look at different factors. That's part of the process when we do have clients that are considering downsizing. We look at these different factors and kind of do a cost analysis.
Well, with all the clients that you've helped over the years, how much does maintenance and upkeep drive that decision?
That's a big one, especially in me personally. There's a lot of upkeep with a bigger home. Now my daughter's off to college. It's just a lot for one person, mm-hmm. and I don't enjoy the upkeeps and that sort of thing.
Tell me about it.
And having rooms that aren't getting used and that sort of thing. So, if some people enjoy it, maybe they have kids coming home, that sort of thing, whatever it might be. But you've got to kind of weigh the cost benefit and see what the pros and cons. It's like anything, it's pros and cons. What are the benefits of staying versus what are the benefits of leaving versus where you're going?
Well, we talked a lot about the changes in finances and what it's going to mean financially, but I guess another thing, if you're listening to the show today, we're talking about downsizing or maybe not downsizing. And the question is, have you considered the non-financial changes that will be associated with this move?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you have neighbors that have become close friends, and you don't want to lose those relationships. And the verse can be true. Maybe the neighborhood has changed, and maybe there's people in the neighborhood you don't want to be associate with. So maybe that's a motivation to get out of that neighborhood.
That's right.
So things come and go, and things change. So it's especially here in Arizona, we have a lot of winter visitors, and people tend to move around quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. One last question I want to ask you here about this. I guess this is kind of the bottom line. If you're choosing to downsize or not to downsize, the most important question in all of that is, what does the future look like for your family? I mean, if you plan to have a lot of family get-togethers and your kids are going to come back home with the grandkids and all that kind of thing, that might be a strong factor in deciding to stay, but, otherwise.
Yeah, it could be. But, I mean, if they're coming into town maybe once or twice a year for a week or two, I mean, you may be better off just, instead of maintaining that house, maybe just, it's cheaper to get a hotel room for them. Quite honestly, for keeping a house for 1 to 2 weeks for the year may not make sense. But if they're coming in on a regular basis, or you think they might be moving back, which you kind of hope that doesn't happen once they're out and about. I certainly feel that way. But you never know, I guess. So everybody's situation's a little bit different. So you got to kind of weigh all these different factors. And we have tools that we use with clients to try to figure out what might be the best move. So you have all the information. So when you do make that choice, you've looked at the pros and cons of staying versus moving.
Well, if you find yourself in that situation, if you're considering downsizing in your retirement, you might want to have a conversation with Mark Silverman about that, because he can maybe point out some things that you haven't thought about that are going to factor into your lifestyle. Call Mark Silverman's office today and arrange to have a conversation. Call or text 520-333-7601. That is 520-333-7601. Mark Silverman has the True Wealth Financial Life Planning process, and of course, he takes all these things into account. We're not just talking about investments, we're talking about lifestyle and everything that is important to you. So, call 520-333-7601 and have a conversation for 20 minutes or so on the phone. Not going to cost you anything at all, and you can decide if you'd like to work together. It's just that simple. You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.